Good Karma Brands radio station.
Now on Sports Center all night. The NFL coaching hiring cycle comes to an end.
What are these other coaches doing that the African American and minority coaches aren't doing that's allowing them to get jobs?
Derek Carr is a free man.
He can name his price right now to me, and I think he's a guy that can get, $50 million a year.
What's done in the dark will come to light for Aaron Rodgers.
Green Bay, hey, home sweet home.
18 years, man.
It's a long time.
It's always going to be home.
And more from an action-packed Tuesday in sports.
Forces it into Hauser. Hauser steps to his right, launches a crazy three. He got it! He got it! Sam Hauser couldn't see the rim, but somehow he knocks down a fallaway three.
This is Sports Center all night.
No, I have no problem with Aiden Rappaport, Schefter. I think they're really good at their jobs. When it comes to me, they don't know. They really don't.
Here's Jay Reynolds.
The now hiring sign has been out for the past few weeks, but now packed and stored away, at least until fall. That's straight ahead. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. The NBA's trade deadline last week really shook up the basketball landscape. No single bigger deal than the blockbuster that sent Kevin Durant to Phoenix. Devin Booker saying it's exciting times now for them. Quote, you can't put it into words. He isn't expected, Durant isn't, on the court until after All-Star Weekend, but he practiced with the Suns for the first time this week. And Tuesday, he was sitting courtside for the game at home against the Kings. And there were things in this game that he had to have enjoyed.
This ball into the forecourt. Gets a pick from 8. Dribbles left wing, then stops, finds DA in the lane. He'll put up a right-hand hook. It rims around, and it drops home. He got that to go again over Sabonis. Chris Paul between the rings. It's a pick from Ayton, gives it to him at the top of the key. Swings to Booker, who just checked back in on the right side. Booker with 5 on the shot clock. Dribbling against Terrence Davis. Stops beyond the arc, then starts. Gets Davis off his feet. Puts up the jumper and drills it. Nothing but the bottom of the net for D-Book with 32 on the night for him.
Arizona Sports 98.7. 32 points for Devin Booker's second career 30-point game without attempting a three-pointer. Suns, a 120-109 win over Sacramento. Chris Paul, 19 assists. DeAndre Ayton, first Suns player with 20 points and 60% shooting in 5 consecutive games since Amari Stoudemire did it in 6 straight in 2004. Suns get the win. They've won 11 of their last 14 to move from 12th in the West to 4th, a game behind the Kings at number 3. Should Phoenix be the favorite in the West? ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins.
25, 11, and 10. Do you know what that is? That's Jokic numbers. Do you know Jokic and the Denver Nuggets are the number 1 team in the Western Conference? Do you know they have arguably the best supporting cast in the Western Conference when you look at the depth on their roster? So no knock on what the Phoenix Suns has. I understand they have Devin Booker and CP3, and they just added Kevin Durant, who's, in my eyes, the best scorer to ever touch the damn basketball. But again, you need the others. And we saw last year when we saw guys on the Golden State Warriors like Gary Payton II, Damian Lee rise to the occasion and step up because teams are going to make adjustments and those other guys are going to have to rise to the occasions. I think, Mikal Bridges being packaged into that deal, being one of the best perimeter defenders in the game, is going to hurt them. They're going to need a perimeter defender.
Suns improving to 9-0 against the division, remaining the only unbeaten team in divisional play this season. They face the Clippers on Thursday. If they win, they would be the 4th team to go 10-0 or better against their own division before the All-Star break over the last 25 seasons. Clippers and Warriors battling for a playoff spot. LA currently has one. Golden State would be facing a play-in game if the season ended today. All that, and they're separated by just a game and a half entering Tuesday's action. Warriors had a 5-point lead at the half, but LA cranking it up in the third. They scored 44 in the third quarter. And then in the fourth,
side out, Thompson gets it in green, right back to Thompson. Now knocked away by Powell, scooped up by Gordon, up ahead. Powell left to right, finds Leonard left wing. Hesitation drive, left spin, right fade from 15. Oh, Kawhi Leonard, kaboom! Leonard walks it left to right. Straight to his right from Gordon. Now he's got the switch with Poole, wants to go to work. Leonard puts his back to him, steps it back, doesn't take the three, instead drives right. Leonard steps through, feeds Powell, driving middle, floats it up to the dotted line, comes up short. Powell follows his miss and has the second chance. Outside for George down the right alley. George attacks on Looney, hangs, no, got it back and puts it in.
AM 570 LA Sports, Kawhi Leonard, 33 points, tying his career high with 7 3-pointers. Clippers beat the Warriors by 10, 134-124 after back-to-back losses. Kawhi Leonard, after the win, speaking with TNT.
Kawhi, 33 points, 7 threes tonight, tied your career high for makes in the game. What was it about tonight? What were you feeling?
I just made shots early. Teammates found me, got in the rhythm, and just kept going from there.
What are your impressions of the new guy, Bones Highland, Plumlee, Eric Gordon?
I like that they stayed aggressive tonight. They didn't defer, and they just played their game pretty much.
Kawhi, you got the Western Conference being so stacked, and a win can get you up in the standings dramatically. Why is it so important to get on a good rhythm these next couple of weeks?
Like you said, the West records are so close together. So, any win matters, and we just got to keep getting better ourselves, though.
Kawhi, I appreciate your excitement, man. Thank you.
Kawhi Leonard after 33 in the win. Norman Powell adding 24. Paul George with 20 and 8 assists for the Clippers, who, yes, had the newly acquired Eric Gordon, Bones Highland, and Mason Plumlee in action. They helped outscore the Warriors bench 49-42. In the loss for Golden State, Jordan Poole leading 7 Warriors in double figures with 28. In Milwaukee, Bucks, Celtics. Bucks with a 3-point lead late. Boston with the ball.
Derek White, in the inbound being guarded by Giannis, having trouble seeing, forces it into Hauser. Hauser steps to his right, launches a crazy three. He got it! He got it! Sam Hauser couldn't see the rim, but somehow he knocks down a fall-away three, moving to his right, and the Boston Celtics are down 4 starters, but with 3 seconds left, they've tied the game.
98.5, the Sports Hub. Celtics tied on that huge three. Should the Bucks have fouled before the game-tying three-pointer? Milwaukee coach Mike Budenholzer.
We do different things in the game, and, the catch and shoot coming out of that, is probably what they're looking for. And, we defended everything well, defended all the screens prior. He gets it out at half court and hits a 30-footer or whatever it was. So, there's different things that we'll do, but, credit to Hauser for making the shot. Chris did exactly what we asked him to do. So, just fortunate to find a way to win it in overtime.
Celtics tying it at the end of regulation, and you heard Budenholzer mention how the overtime went as the Bucks responded.
Giannis walks the dog as he rolls it to midcourt. Picks it up. He's been quiet of late. Drives in. Kicks it out. Connaughton passes to Holiday. Squeezes off a three for the lead. And he buries it from straight on. Mr. Clutch. Drew Holiday delivers again. Derek White fighting off the defense from Allen. Trying to get that lead back with a three here for Boston. They get it to Williams. Grant Williams loses it on the deck. It's going to be picked up. Giannis feeds ahead. Connaughton going the other way. Thumps it down. They call a foul before, though, and it's going to be a clear path foul.
WTMJ with the calls. Bucks close out the Celtics 131-125. Bucks half game behind the Celtics in the Eastern Conference. They do it with their 11th consecutive win. Drew Holiday, 40 points in the overtime win. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 36 in the win for Milwaukee. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
Raiders released quarterback Derek Carr ahead of the deadline where $40 million of his contract is guaranteed.
In 2021, Derek Carr midseason was an MVP candidate.
I just love the beauty of him being a free and clear free agent.
Yeah.
Like the opportunity to be courted, to make a decision based on where you think you can win right away, but also get compensated.
Now he'll get a chance to find a team that matches, but also wants him to be on that team. I think this is great for Derek Carr.
Raiders releasing Derek Carr Tuesday. The veteran quarterback, of course, had declined to waive his no-trade clause, and the team had to release him because More than $40 million of his contract would have become guaranteed on Wednesday. To our NFL Live crew, Field Yates, Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky, where now?
Two teams come to mind, the New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers. I'll remind everybody of two things. In 2021, Derek Carr midseason was an MVP candidate. And ask yourself this, when was the last time this league had a top 10, top 12 caliber player at that position that was a free agent?
I just love the beauty of him being a free and clear free agent, D.O.
Yeah.
Like the opportunity to be courted, to make a decision based on where you think you can win right away, but also get compensated. Derek Carr is a really good quarterback in this league. You can win with Derek Carr. I think you need pieces around him, but that's majority of the guys in this league. But very rarely, to your point, do guys get a chance to be free agents in this league. And the fact that he's a quarterback with success, phenomenal.
Derek Carr said, Las Vegas Raiders, you not about to get no picks from me. I'm going to walk into this thing where I'm free and clear, and I get the opportunity to vet these teams as they'll be vetting me. He's a top 15 talent at the position, probably higher, and now he'll get a chance to find a team that matches, but also wants him to be on that team. I think this is great for Derek Carr.
And timing is everything in life. No one likes to get fired, but worth noting that Derek Carr does not have to wait until the NFL's new league year begins in the middle of March. He is free to sign with the team right this second. So other quarterbacks that could be traded or free agents like Jimmy Garoppolo still have to wait a month. Derek Carr has a head start on the field. His courting process can begin immediately.
Carr playing for 6 head coaches in 9 seasons with the Raiders. Carr now looking for work. Meanwhile, there are no more NFL head coaching vacancies. Colts and Cardinals becoming the final 2 to fill their positions, and both are filled with guys from the Eagles in Indy. The Colts officially hire Shane Steichen, who's now the former offensive coordinator. He's at the helm of the team looking to rebound from the 4-12-1 season and looking for stability at the quarterback position. ESPN Colts reporter Stephen Holder.
They really think this hire gives them, some latitude with who they draft at quarterback. They don't feel they're going to be pigeonholed, to have to maybe find a guy who's tailored to the scheme they're going to run. They think that Steichen, we'll see if they're right, but they think that Steichen can adapt to whoever they draft. They haven't had a pick this high in quite some time. So this is an instance where the owner does pay more attention and get more involved. Now, the other thing I would say is with Jim Irsay, I know him well enough to know that there are no wasted words, okay? There's always some kernel of truth or some reason for you to pay attention when he makes a reference. And that reference to Bryce Young, I think we should pay attention to, okay? He actually said, hey, we have options. We could trade up. He's not just talking out of his rear end, I think. I really think this is a conversation they've had. I think we should really pay attention to that because that's his history. He definitely tips his hand from time to time.
And while Steichen is hired by the Colts, the Cardinals hired Jonathan Gannon as their head coach. The 40-year-old had been the Eagles' defensive coordinator the past 2 seasons. ESPN Cardinals reporter Josh Weinfuss.
Cliff Kingsbury developed a reputation as someone who was just, I don't know if he's too laid back, but he was too quiet. He didn't really lead with force. This guy, though, this guy is the polar opposite of that. They needed to develop a new culture in that building. They needed to get everyone on board. Basically, they went the opposite direction of Cliff Kingsbury, except for the age. He's Jonathan Gannon's younger than Cliff, but he's a defensive guy. Cliff is an offensive guy. Cliff is more soft-spoken. Jonathan Gannon is not.
Jonathan Gannon, one of the names that was late into the mix for the Cardinals job, and kind of a head-scratcher overall for ESPN analyst Ryan Clark.
Here is what strikes me. You have Jonathan Gannon, who does a good job, but who is thoroughly outcoached in the second half of this football game in the Super Bowl. And Andy Reid shows you that he isn't necessarily up to the level that you need to be to win a championship. And then we see on the other side a guy like Eric Bieniemy, who's been to 5 AFC championships, also won 2 Super Bowls, and he's not necessarily up to snub to lead a locker room according to the executives, according to the owners. Let's go back to last year with a guy like Raheem Morris, who was a young head coach in Tampa Bay and now worked his way on both offense and defense. And you actually win the Super Bowl with your defense coming up with the main stops against the Cincinnati Bengals, who were seemingly unstoppable last year to win the Super Bowl. I don't want to be the guy that always has to bring up that black coaches are continually overlooked. I'm the guy that wants to bring up what are these other coaches doing that the African American and minority coaches aren't doing that's allowing them to get jobs, because it can no longer be about winning championships, because neither Shane Steichen nor Jonathan Gannon did that. But here we are 2 days after the game that they lost, by the way, and they now have head coaching jobs. All I'm asking is make it make sense.
Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, both the coordinators for the Eagles getting head coaching jobs this week. Straight ahead, how's the college basketball world shaping up now? That's next. Sports Center all night at ESPN Radio.
Coming up Wednesday, with the balance of power in the NBA shifted to the West, I'm going to tell you why the Celtics are still the top dog in the East and the NBA. Don't sleep on Giannis and the Bucks. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, ESPNU.
This is Sports Center all night.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
Top of the 7th looks like a pitching change as they've set up for a corner kick. The 2 black belts have entered the mat, and the slider is blown away. He heads the ball to midfield. This is quite a kumite. Here comes the roundhouse. Has it got enough gas to get out of here? Unbelievable. They've bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Kick savings pitch karate.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
The ESPN New York app is here.
Aloha, Nick. Aloha, guys. But I have downloaded the app, so now I'm a fully app official out here in Hawaii.
Listen in Hawaii. Listen wherever. We don't care. Take us everywhere. Plus, you can download all your favorite 98.7 exclusive podcasts like Game Misconduct, Flight Deck, and Breaking Big Blue. The ESPN New York app. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. Just download the app for instant enjoyment.
The Jeep Wrangler 4xe. It's electrified. So you can boogie woogie woogie up a mountain, over creeks, or boogie woogie woogie through a desert where you get bit by a pit viper. So you boogie woogie woogie back to camp and ask your friends if they'll suck the snake venom out. When they say no, you boogie woogie woogie to the nearest hospital for a dose of anti-venom and boogie woogie woogie your way to a full recovery. The electrified Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Learn more at Jeep.com. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The all-new Weekend Wager comes to 98.7 ESPN on Friday nights at 10 p.m. It's presented by BetMGM Sports. Don't be left out of the action.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night continues. ESPN Radio. People in Turkey need our help, and we can do our part to help those affected by the massive earthquake. Please visit redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond. Your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster, and will provide people and communities affected with food, shelter, relief supplies, recovery planning support, and other assistance. redcross.org/ESPN. Sports Center All Night. Michigan State, meanwhile, won't be holding on-campus athletic events at all this week after this week's shooting. The school's still determining whether its teams will travel for weekend events. The move comes after a 43-year-old man killed 3 students, wounded 5 others in that shooting Monday night. College basketball on Tuesday in the Big 12. Number 5, Kansas, an 87-76 win over Oklahoma State. Kansas has won 5 of its last 6 games, third double-digit win during that span. Kansas coach Bill Self.
I think that's the best we played, in a while. I thought, defensively we couldn't stop, obviously, Boone and Thompson. They were so good the first half, so good. But we hung in there and somehow had a lead at halftime and played through some sprained ankles and foul trouble and everything else. So I think our kids showed something tonight.
One of the guys I asked you about earlier today was Grady Dick.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you make of his performance?
He was great. He was aggressive early, saw a couple go down, but he was great. He picked his spots well. He hasn't got very many good looks, but he's learning how to move without the ball better. We did a better job looking for him, but I thought he was terrific. Jalen was really big late. I thought Kevin was great the whole game. Juan nipped up, and KJ played out of foul trouble. Ernest fouls out, and Joe came in and helped us. But it was a great, great team win.
Grady Dick, a career-high 26 points. 7th 20-point game this season. Kansas with the 11-point win over Oklahoma State, which has a 5-game win streak come to an end. It had been its longest win streak of the season. Caleb Boone, career-high 27 in the loss. Number 12, K-State and Oklahoma.
Sherfield, blast move, got into the paint, all the way to the rack for 2. It's Cortez. Hands to Grant. Grant, kick back. Bijan, open 3 is in the air. Bam! Knocked the bottom out of it. Bijan.
Learfield with the call. Oklahoma upends K-State 79-65. Oklahoma's second win against an AP-ranked team this season. 2-8 against ranked opponents this year. Third straight win, though, against K-State. Longest win streak in the series since 2000 and 2006 when they won 8 straight. K-State, though, 14-point margin of defeat, tied for their largest this season. Coach Jerome Tang.
It's disappointing, but it's not like disheartening. We're gonna figure this thing out because we have really good dudes in that locker room and they care. The care factor is high, and everybody's going through different things at different times. Nobody cares that David was sick, and nobody cares that this person is dealing with that or the other, all the things that every team in the country is dealing with right now. And so those are just things that you have to work through, and it's part of being in the best league in America and having a chance, to play in the NCAA tournament.
Said you can't coach up effort. K-State falls as the number 12 team on Tuesday night. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. Long game between Providence and Creighton. They went 2 overtimes.
Shireman drives on Carter, leaves it inside. It's loose on the floor. It's stolen by Croswell. He gives it to Carter. Carter controls it in the forecourt to the left side toward his bench. Crosses over, gets down the lane, lays it up. Scores! And one! Hopkins in front of Ed Cooley. High post for Croswell. 10 to shoot. Hands off the lock. Cuts to the right. Goes down the right side. Elevates. Scores on the bank shot.
John Rook, our buddy from Lairfield. Providence in double overtime. A 94-86 win over Creighton. First ranked against ranked Big East game to reach double overtime since 2013. And Providence comes away with the win in this one. ACC Duke 68-64 win over Notre Dame. Duke is 13-0 at home this season. ESPN bracketologist Joe Lenardi has them on a 9 line right now. He says they could move up depending on what happens in the ACC tournament. And as we head farther on down towards March, Notre Dame, meanwhile, 0-9 away from home this season. Worst start in road or neutral games since 1965. Penn State tops Illinois 93-81. Jalen Pickett, second career 40-point game, finishes with 41 on 15 of 20 shooting. Wisconsin, a 64-59 win over Michigan. Wisconsin, after the win, is now in Joe Lenardi's last 4 in. Will light be seen in the darkness? That's next. Sports Center all night at ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny, and we are busy in mid-February. Pitchers and catchers are reporting, and the first shoe has fallen in football free agency. We're talking about it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Coming up Wednesday, with the balance of power in the NBA shifted to the West, I'm going to tell you why the Celtics are still the top dog in the East and the NBA. Don't sleep on Giannis and the Bucks. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, ESPNU.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN22 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN22. Use code ESPN22 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
If you're Aaron Rodgers, when you emerge from that dark room in which he is sitting and someone gets word to you, hey, you know, the Jets have the best offensive and defensive rookies in the sport, and they can afford you, that's a pretty attractive little combination there. That is a great day to be a Jet fan yesterday.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. right here on 98.7 ESPN.
Hey guys, Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at FatFitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower, customized just as I wanted with only one installer in the home. Process was so easy, there's no demolition, which keeps the cost way, way down. FatFitter is a permanent solution, no cover-up, plus a lifetime guarantee for as long as you own your home. Over 2 million happy customers like me and my wife, and for a limited time, get no interest and no payments for 12 months. So start designing your bath today like I did at fatfitterdesign.com. There's only one FatFitter.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny. And this is Shaw.
Shaw stands for skilled hands at work.
When he's not cutting grass, he's cutting hair.
So every person is different, from hair tight to head shape. And I feel like it's the same way in a yard.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
Every victory over cancer is worth celebrating. We celebrate every life saved by donating to Save Another.
It may not save my life. It may save someone you love.
Because of all the donations, mine is one of the lives that's been saved.
Life is worth celebrating. That's why ESPN and the V Foundation will never give up. Please give. Learn more at v.org.
Don't miss the #1 rated afternoon drive show in New York. It's the Michael K. Show. And it's every weekday at 2:55 on 98.7 ESPN.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
The Raiders make it official. They released quarterback Derek Carr before the contract deadline came up on Wednesday. The Celtics fall in overtime in Milwaukee to the Bucks. Warriors dropping their game as well. Phoenix wins at home. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio.
The season is on the line on this play. Jared Goff, empty shotgun, takes a step, fires right side, got his man, and that will do it. That's the season, boys and girls.
I think it's going to be important to get through this week, to take my, my isolation retreat, just to be able to contemplate all things my future. And
What's isolation retreat? We're just going into a cave?
It's 4 nights of complete darkness. It's a darkness retreat.
If Aaron Rodgers knows what his plans are for his NFL future, he hasn't let us know at this point, and now he's headed for that darkness retreat. Wants everybody to know that it's been on his calendar.
Listen, I'm not in my darkness retreat yet.
What?
Oh, yesterday.
What? Nope. This thing has been planned for about 4 months, and it was always the same date, always the end of this week.
Oh.
So anybody with knowledge to the opposite of that, it's fake news.
Whoa.
So let me just reiterate one more time. There's an inner circle, right? And in my inner circle, nobody talks to Ian Rappaport, to Adam Schefter, or to any of those people. So if you're one of those people who's talking to those people, it's a great reminder for you, you're not in the inner circle.
Oh, damn. That was hanging on somebody there.
And if anybody else is out there saying stuff, or if they're just making it up, which is also, those are both likely, just stop with the fake news. I speak for myself. I will continue to do that. I have no problem with Ian Rappaport, Schefter. I think they're really good at their jobs. When it comes to me, they don't know. They really don't. They don't have people in my inner circle who are sources. I can promise you that. And anybody who would talk to them is not in my inner circle. It's that simple. I've had this planned on the books for 4 months for the same time. And when someone like that goes on and says something that's not true, it creates a story that's bullshit. And it just keeps on going and going and going. And then it's like I'm trying to insert myself into this conversation.
So are you saying, like, can we count on talking to you next year on Tuesdays on your off day when you're playing for the Packers?
Listen, I would love to continue with it. It's a lot of fun for me. Regardless of what I decide to do, I would love to continue to talk to you guys in some capacity. We'll kind of meet that bridge when we get there.
Green Bay, hey, home sweet home.
18 years, man.
It's a long time.
That's always going to be home.
Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show talking about his inner circle, or if you're De Niro.
Did I not clearly explain the circle of trust to you?
Aaron Rodgers will be in his darkness retreat this week. As for what Green Bay's doing now. ESPN Packers reporter Rob Domofsky.
Packers aren't sitting around doing nothing while Aaron Rodgers contemplates his future, but they can't fully proceed with their offseason plans until they know who their quarterback will be. In the meantime, Coach Matt LaFleur and his staff reconvened this week after taking a couple of weeks off and have now begun to plot their course for the offseason. General Manager Brian Gutekunst and his scouting staff, well, they're knee-deep in free agency preparations and the draft. But there's only so much they can do until decision day. Last year, Rodgers announced on March 8th that he would return for another season. And less than a week later, they had a 3-year, $150 million contract extension worked out. Team president Mark Murphy told our Diana Rossini last week at the Super Bowl that they're not giving Rodgers a hard deadline, but said, quote, "We both realize the sooner the decision is made, the better."
And now we know Aaron Rodgers will take more time through his retreat as he continues to ponder his future. Earlier on ESPN Radio, our Amber Wilson.
Aaron Rodgers needs to control the message because otherwise he's like just a victim of all of us. Like none of us give Aaron Rodgers the respect. Like he's a quarterback that all we've all done is sit here for a decade and a half and talk about how he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of his generation. Some people have him as one of the greatest of all time. The man's won one Super Bowl. Like the man has underperformed so many times, and yet the media largely has been unbelievably favorable to Aaron Rodgers in every single way. He's been a darling of the media for a very, very, very long time. So I'm sure that there's a desire by any person who's famous to somewhat control their own narrative. I just find it ironic the person who goes every single week and insults the media is doing it quite literally on a media platform and then continues to toy with us all and utilize us and say the things to get us all talking about him on our platform every single day. I don't think Aaron Rodgers actually hates the media. I think Aaron Rodgers loves it and wants all the attention in the world.
Two likeliest outcomes: stay where he is or go elsewhere like the Jets. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
Shane had a lot of that offensive magic, which is hard to find in this league.
Brilliant football mind, and philosophically, we see the game the same way.
I know we got some pieces in place to get that done, and we should be ready to roll.
Colts and Cardinals becoming the final two teams to hire coaches following the Super Bowl, and both head coaches are plucked away from the Eagles. Colts officially hiring Shane Steichen, who's now the former offensive coordinator in Philly, takes over the Colts, who had Jeff Saturday as the interim head coach for the final half of the season, and he took to social media on Tuesday.
First, I just want to say to the Colts organization and Colts Nation how much I appreciate the opportunity. I'm so grateful for the last 8 weeks of the season and the opportunity to represent you guys. I appreciate the coaches for all your time, energy, and effort, to all the players laying it out there each and every week. I can't tell you how much I respect and appreciate what each and every player, not only for the Colts, but the NFL do and what they put on the line each and every week. It was an absolute blessing. I look fondly upon it. Wish we would have done better. Ultimately, that is where it is. And so I want to wish Coach Steichen the best of luck. I'm still a huge Colt fan and pulling for you guys. Looking forward to hoisting some Lombardi trophies and excited for your opportunity.
Trophies, plural. A lot of work for, he's setting the bar high for Shane Steichen. ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky. How about the quarterback position?
I look at Will Levis from Kentucky and then Anthony Richardson from Florida, 2 draft picks. I go back to his time as most of his NFL coaching career. So with the Chargers, Shane Steichen, and then with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think of Justin Herbert, big, powerful, physical, strong guy. And I think of Jalen Hurts, big, powerful, physical, strong guy. Will Levis fits that mold. He is a big physical specimen, powerful arm, athletic enough that you can utilize him in the run game, because I think after being with Jalen Hurts, he's going to want to do that. He fits the mold of the guys that Steichen has spent the majority of his NFL career with, even going back to Philip Rivers, those big-bodied, I guess, prototypical sized guys in the NFL. And then Anthony Richardson. I've called a couple of his young men's games in college football. He is an off-the-charts physical talent. 6'3", 6'4", 240 pounds.
Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator with the Eagles, gets the head coaching job with the Colts. The Cardinals, meanwhile, get the Eagles' defensive coordinator. Jonathan Gannon becomes the head coach for Arizona. ESPN analyst Marcus Spears and Dan Orlovsky.
Better work. You know, this is a uphill battle or uphill climb for both Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon. We know Kyler got his money last year, okay? Jonathan Gannon is stepping into a situation in a new general manager in Monty Ossenfort. This roster is not nearly as good as it was 2 years ago when they went to the playoffs against the Rams. he's got to get healthy. I think the biggest challenge for Jonathan Gannon is getting Kyler Murray to believe you, as the head coach, can allow me to be kind of myself, but demand that I get better to be the quarterback of this football team. It ain't little games anymore. It's time to grow up in this league. That's real. It's time to grow up, and Jonathan Gannon's got to be the leader that pulls that out of Kyler Murray.
I saw assistant DB coach, and then defensive coordinator of a really good unit that had success this year in Philadelphia. To your point, Dan, we'll find out how you manage men. Like, that's what head coaching is about. Like, we know that these guys have acumen, X's and O's, Y's, and we understand that they may have success in other areas. But the experience that I thought was needed in Arizona was a guy to come in with a little bit of stature. And I'm not sure, like, this hire, obviously Arizona likes Jonathan Gannon, and Jonathan Gannon did a good job with the Philadelphia Eagles this year from a defensive standpoint. But I thought this job should have been dedicated to somebody that's got some cachet and stock in this league. Because to your point, Dio, Jonathan Gannon's number one job is to get Kyler Murray to be one of the 53 guys, like we talked about all season long. I want to see how that relationship materializes. You can get better on defense, but if your quarterback ain't listening to you or don't respect the people in the building, it don't matter how good you're on that side of the ball.
Final two head coaching jobs have now been filled. SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio. Meanwhile, another coach quarterback scenario in Baltimore. Ravens hiring Georgia's Todd Monken to be the offensive coordinator. Monken spent 3 seasons in the same role at Georgia. 57-year-old was the offensive coordinator for the Browns in 2019 and the Bucs for 3 seasons prior to that. ESPN Ravens reporter Jamison Hensley.
The hiring of Todd Monken as the Ravens' new offensive coordinator ends a search that included interviewing 14 candidates over the span of 4 weeks. From what I was told, the Ravens asked Lamar Jackson for his vision of the offense at the end of the season, which was used in the selection process. But Jackson did not have any interaction with any of the candidates. Jackson's future is the next order of business for Baltimore. If the sides can't reach a new deal by March 7th, the Ravens will place the franchise tag on Jackson to keep him from becoming a free agent. This is an expensive decision. The exclusive tag costs $45 million, but Baltimore would control Jackson's rights as well as any potential trade talks.
Monken hired by the Ravens away from Georgia. SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio. Speaking of college, New Mexico State firing basketball coach Greg Heyer. It all stems from the hazing allegations that shut down the team program for the rest of the season.
In a redacted police report, 3 New Mexico State players held another teammate down, removed his clothing, and engaged in unwanted physical and sexual touching in the men's locker room. The most recent incident was February 6th, but was described as an ongoing issue. The victim also said another player may have been subjected to the same misconduct.
I am disappointed a lot.
Shahar Lazar was the first player to publicly announce their departure from the program. The redshirt freshman from Israel announcing in a post over the weekend, "I don't believe the program that I originally committed to currently aligns with my beliefs and core values."
All I want is that the guy that you happen to will be okay. He's the main concern.
Did you have any idea that this was happening to one of your teammates?
I can't discuss it much. Rumors were around, but I don't have much to say about it.
Were you able to talk about whether the coaches knew either?
I don't know. I can't talk for the coaches. I don't know if they know.
This is the second in-season investigation for Aggies men's hoops. In December, New Mexico State player Mike Peake was involved in a fatal shooting that killed a University of New Mexico student and resulted in state police pulling over the Aggies team bus to find the gun and other evidence. WAC Commissioner Brian Thornton called the situation around the most recent hazing allegations heartbreaking.
This is just a reminder that these type of unfortunate circumstances take place on our campuses and in locker rooms across this country, and that we have to be proactive. No one should have to ever experience that type of hatred. They should never have to experience that type of, emotional warfare.
At least 2 other teammates are joining Lazar and entering the transfer portal. The number one thing he told me he'll be looking for in his next program, he says, good people. I'm Michelle Steele, ESPN.
School chancellor announcing the firing of head coach Greg Heyer on Tuesday, saying hazing has no place on the campus and those found responsible would be held accountable. He said decisions about the rest of the coaching staff will be made after more investigation. He's admittedly rusty, but expects to win. That's next. Sports Center All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Wednesday, the Jets may have interest in a certain quarterback, but I'll explain why. New York may not be the best AFC landing spot for this guy. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
More Sports Center All Night. Next.
The Michael K. Show is on.
Tim Legler, how do you look at this Knicks team?
I think the Knicks are a pretty good basketball team. I think they play hard. Jalen Brunson's ceiling is significantly higher than I ever thought it was coming out of Villanova, and I'll be the first to admit it. He is a big-time offensive player in this league, and he's a big game player. I really like their team, and I think they're positioned now to potentially get into that top 5, like you mentioned, which would be incredible.
Don't miss the Michael K. Show, weekdays at 3 on 98.7 ESPN. Take Mohegan Sun with you wherever you are in Connecticut, on your commute, at the shore, in the park, or at home. Your favorite casino games are now in the palm of your hand. Win real money and earn real awards by playing on the MoheganSunCasino.com app. Visit PlayMoheganSunCasino.com for today's promotions. Where do you play Mohegan? Must be 21 or older to play. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching a kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
John's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
The biggest names, the biggest games. They're all right here. This is 1050 ESPN, New York.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
We're taking you to Key, Jay and Max, 6 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN Radio. Sports Center All Night is presented by Progressive Insurance. Tiger Woods feels healthy enough to tee it up at Riviera this week. First tournament with a cut and without a cart since the Open Championship last July. Says he thinks he can win. Woods says he's not out there to play the role of Jimmy Dugan. Step out of the dugout, wave his little cap. Woods says that's not him.
I would not have put myself out here if I didn't think I could beat these guys and win the event. That's my mentality. And if I wasn't ready to win at this level, I am very rusty. but I've come off rusty situations before, and I've done well, and I've had to utilize a lot of those tactics in practice and build up. And plus, also, I know this golf course. I know I haven't had a lot of success on this golf course, but I knew what to practice for, shots to hit while I was at home getting ready.
That said, Woods says he's realistic to know that his body won't be able to hold out forever, and it's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. But he said at this point can't wrap his head around ceremonial golf. He is the tournament host for the Genesis Invitational, but currently sees himself as another player in the tournament. And as for the intrigue surrounding this one, to the guys at PTI.
I mean, the golf season as it is just starting. It's just starting. We'll get to stuff. We'll get, you have the Western Swing, which is going to wrap up, and then you get to Florida, you get to TPC, and you get the majors, you get the fine. We got a lot of time to see them. But Tiger Woods, I mean, if you can hit the refresh button and up on your screen pops Eldrick Woods, that's all you need. That's all I need. I'm going to watch and obsess over him. I can't even believe he's back out there. I know he says he feels great, good. Tony, I don't know what's reasonable. This is all sort of fantasy land to me that Tiger Woods could be out there competing at all, given what happened to him, a couple of years ago now. I'm just thrilled he's out there. And I want to obsess over everything Tiger.
Yeah, so the answer to this question is Tiger Woods. The answer to all these questions, if Tiger is involved, is always Tiger Woods. And let's listen to the players for a second. Max Homa, who won this thing a couple of years ago, here's a quote. "I think we're privileged every time he plays now. John Rahm may be the best player in the world. It's true honor for all of us. We're going to see Tiger Woods out on a golf course walking. And this is going to be, for me, this is that commercial with Colin Morikawa and Rory McIlroy and Tiger, the Far Given commercial. We're going to see that come to life. Now, it as you pointed out, and you have to point this out, it was 2 years ago, I believe, after this tournament that he got in a terrible car accident, and most of us thought he would never, ever play again. So it is great to see him out there. Yeah. Down the road in this tournament, we're going to find out if Scheffler or Rory or Rahm is number one by the end of the tournament, because I don't think Tiger's going to make the cut. But that's a golf story. And as much as you and I love golf, that doesn't compare to a Tiger story.
Tiger Woods at the Genesis Invitational at the age of 47 and problems with his right ankle, among others. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Alex Ovechkin has left the Washington Capitals to attend to a family matter. The team says they see him being out, quote, for the foreseeable future. On the ice on Tuesday, Bruins beating the Stars in overtime 3-2. Bruins on pace for 61 wins this season. That would be one shy of the single season record. They're on pace for 131 points this season, also one shy of the single season record. As for Tuesday's top sounds, we bring in Jim Basketball.
Number 3.
Jay, the Celtics didn't have Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum on Tuesday, but still gave the Bucks a fight in Milwaukee. Down 3 final seconds, got this equalizer from Sam Hauser. Sean Grande, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Derek White, the inbound lane guarded by Giannis, having trouble seeing. Forces it into Hauser. Hauser steps to his right, launches a crazy three. He got it! He got it! Sam Hauser couldn't see the rim, but somehow he knocks down a fallaway three, moving to his right, and the Boston Celtics are down 4 starters, but with 3 seconds left, they've tied the game.
Number 2.
It took a pair of overtimes for Providence to improve to 14-0 at home. Devin Carter led the way in a top 25 Big East battle versus Creighton. This 2 of his 25, John Rook from Learfield.
Chinaman drives on Carter, leaves it inside, it's loose on the forward, stolen by Croswell. He gives it to Carter. Carter controls it in the forecourt to the left side toward his bench. Crosses over, gets down the lane, lays it up.
Number 1.
Milwaukee has now won 11 straight. On a night, Giannis came within an assist of a triple-double. It was Drew Holiday who carried the scoring load with 40, including this in the extra session. Dave Cohn, WTMJ.
Giannis walks the dog as he rolls it to midcourt. Picks it up. He's been quiet of late. Drives in. Kicks it out. Connaughton passes to Holiday. Squeezes off a three for the lead. And he buries the clutch straight on. Mr. Clutch. Drew Holiday delivers again. Milwaukee coming away with the win. NBA releasing the full list of participants for All-Star Saturday's events in Salt Lake City, the skills competition, the three-point contest, the dunk contest. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday's teammate, is teaming up with his brothers once again on All-Star Saturday. ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins says, take advantage of that headline status.
When I look at Giannis is the Drake of basketball. When you think about Drake, he has all the accolades. When you look at Drake, he never disappoints. He never makes us wait 2 or 3 years before he drop an album. And when he do drop, or when they do drop, it never disappoints us in this gold or platinum. Right? It's great. Same with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He never disappoints us. Even on his off night, it's still a great night for him. He's always available. He always shows up to work. And I remember when Drake had a knee brace on when he tore his ACL, and he was still showing up on stage. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He just did it against in LA when they played the Lakers and Clippers. Now, I know it was in the same city, but he showed up to work and he delivered in great fashion. And you know what's even more compelling is that they're not even done yet. It's still more greatness to be done between those two. Just know that Giannis Antetokounmpo will be playing. If you're watching it from your iPad or your telephone, you won't be disappointed because Giannis never lets us down.
Skills competition, three-point contest, dunk contest, and then, of course, it all boils down to Team Giannis and Team LeBron. All-Star Weekend from Salt Lake City. You'll hear it all for All-Star Weekend here on ESPN Radio. That's going to do it for SportsCenter All Night. I'm Jay Reynolds. It's Wednesday, February 15th, birthday of Jaromir Jagr, who's 51 today and still playing in the Czech Republic. Kansas City has a celebration parade today. The NFL's last 2 coaching vacancies are filled from the Super Bowl's losing team. Complete reaction this morning with Key, Jay, and Max. They're next. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, G. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
And we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews. But now, we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.